Hi, everybody. This is Kate Haley with Glazer's Camera. Welcome back to Photofest, the virtual edition. This is our third session of the day and our 23rd session of Photofest, which is kind of crazy when I think about that, that we've done 22 of these so far. So thank you to everyone who's joined us on this journey. It is definitely a different experience. We miss seeing your faces. We miss talking to you guys in person. But I also think we've also gotten to meet a lot of new people because we have people tuning in from different parts of the country and in some cases other parts of the world. So thank you everyone for being a part of this so far. The session that we're going to do right now is with McKenzie Deakins. She's a Sigma ambassador based out of Utah. We had a great session with her yesterday, and this one's going to be focused on adventure elopements, if I can speak properly. Sorry, we've been goofing around a little bit before we got live, so I'm still kind of in the giggle mode, so you'll just have to forgive me. So Mackenzie is awesome. She's got a lot of great energy, and we do have just about an hour with her. If you have questions, feel free to post those whenever on the Facebook comments or the YouTube chat room. We'll do a little bit of Q&A after she's gone through her slideshow. So Mackenzie, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll get started.
All right. I'm so excited. I'm based out of Utah. I'm primarily a wedding photographer. Absolutely love weddings. I love everything about weddings. The little food you get to eat with everybody. Everyone's happy. It's wonderful. I've never been sick of weddings. Usually around like October, I'm like, maybe I'm done. But then come March, I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. So yeah, love weddings. I've been featured in different multiple publications like magazines, The Knot and Martha Stewart Weddings, Bridal Guide magazine, and then I've had the cover of Utah Valley Bride 8 times. So that's super awesome. I do have a degree in photography, and I've been shooting for 15 years. I'm married and I have 2 kids, little boy and a little girl. Well, they're 13 and 10 now, so they're crazy. But yeah, I love adventuring. I love going hiking with my family and campfires and just lots of fun stuff like that. And so it's a good time.
That is great. And it's been a joy. It's funny, we had you lined up for an event that we were going to try and do in March focused on wedding and portrait photography, but unfortunately I had to cancel due to the pandemic. And we're just grateful that we were able to reconnect and get to spend some time with you during our version of PhotoFest that we've done online here. I do want to mention we're also going to have Aaron, who's our local Sigma rep, who, if you've been to the store, he is comes down or up rather because he's based in Portland, but he comes up to visit with us, and we've done other kinds of events with him. So he'll be hanging out for questions and things like that too. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and roll into your presentation because I know we have probably a lot that you want to share and not a ton of time.
I love it. I'm so excited. I do have just a bunch to share. And I'm one of those people that is I'm very real. I'm just going to say how it is because right before we started, my light stopped working, the battery stopped working. And so I just want to let you know that I recognize that there's trash all over the ground. And I'm just going to let you know that I know. So now that we both know, all of us know, we just had like a 30-second little run around the room, and now everything's fine. And so we're ready to get
This is
we're
real
ready
life,
to get this party
people.
started.
It's real life.
I Okay, yes. And I just real quick, I'm so grateful to Sigma and Glazer's Camera up in Seattle that I've hung out with you yesterday and today. And I am sad that I wasn't able to actually come up to Seattle to visit that beautiful area, but hopefully next year we'll be able to reconnect and I'll be able to come up there. But this has been fun. This is fun. And I'm so excited to talk to everyone today about adventure elopements. Let's get this party started. Okay. Oh, wait, go back. This is fun. Hold on. Everyone push pause for a second. I think my mouse might have stopped working for a second there. Oh,
Are you
okay.
on a iMac and your mouse is now
This
misbehaving?
is my life.
Oh no. Give us just a second. We'll get the
Don't
screen
look.
sharing
No
going.
one watch. This is a
Cut to
surprise.
Kate.
Cut to me.
Okay, I think it just got a little angry.
Just
Okay.
as a reminder,
Guys,
if you
stop
do have
clicking. Don't.
questions,
You're cheating now. Okay.
no, I'm just
All
letting
right.
people know. If you do have questions, be sure to post those in the chat and we're going to ask those towards the end. It looks like we have the slideshow going now, so we're going to go back over to McKenzie.
Everything's good. You're awesome. Okay. So today we're talking about adventure elopements. You're like, what the heck is an adventure elopement? I don't really know. I just kind of made it up, and I think that every other people have been saying adventure elopements as well, as I came to find out because I use the hashtag adventure elopement. But I kind of coined the term. What am I saying? I didn't coin the term, but I said it once because I was doing an elopement, and it was not a normal elopement. It was like out of an Indiana Jones movie craziness. And I was like, this is not your average everyday elopement. This is an adventure elopement. And apparently it's like a real thing. And so I recognized and realized, like, I looked back through some of my most recent weddings with the whole pandemic thing. It kind of forced everyone into going into elopement mode. And so between that and then some other experiences I've had in the past, I'm like, wait a minute, I think I've had some other adventure elopements as well. And so I wanted to kind of just put them all together and talk about them and how you can start attracting the type of client that can be an adventure elopement client. So today we'll talk about 3 different pieces. So finding your adventure clients, pricing, and then your do's and don'ts in regards to the whole experience. So let's talk about the clients first. So I have had multiple just fun, adventurous clients in the past. And I want to talk about these 4 weddings specifically because the number one question I get asked every single time I post or talk about an amazing wedding that I was able to photograph, they're like, how did you get that wedding? How? And the answer is, I'll tell you, you got to stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. Okay. But first, we're going to talk about Derek and Kyle. So Derek and Kyle they were the first gay wedding that I ever had photographed. And when I got an email from them and they were so cute, Derek, he was like, hey, I am just reaching out. I'm wondering if you're okay with photographing a gay wedding. And I was like, yes. I've wanted to do one. I live in a very conservative Utah, and there aren't a lot of, and specifically, like, I'm not even in Salt Lake area. I'm out in a suburb, and so I don't have a lot of gay weddings or that clientele. But I had the way that this couple found me was Derek's sister had followed me on Facebook or on Instagram like for years, and she just she just loved my work and put my name out to her brother. And so it was really just like because I had, Instagram. So a lot of my work or a lot of my business comes from Instagram, which is great. So that's how Derek and Kyle found me. So it was just kind of like oh, I'm just working, putting it out there, posting, going on Insta stories, and that's like how they found me. And I absolutely loved shooting this wedding. It was in Belize. So in regards to, okay, so Belize, it's not like even Florida. It's not like the easiest thing to get to. The coolest part about this is they said, hey, we are going to Belize, but we're going on a cruise. So you'd have to go on the cruise to come to the wedding and shoot the wedding. And I was like, yes. I was really trying to like play it cool, like, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Like, whatever. Because I was like trying so hard not to like, anyway, loved it. So we went on this, my husband and I actually went on this cruise and we got to hang out with this fun group of people, their family and friends, and got to know them for the whole week. And then like on day 4, we went out to this private island and they were married on this private island. Now, it's funny because I remember being at a conference once and a photographer was talking to me about or he was explaining how adventure or travel destination weddings like aren't always what they cracked up to be. It's like flights and canceled flights and delayed and luggage getting lost. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's like what traveling is called. But what I thought was interesting is when I stood on that in that ceremony area, those words came into my mind because I was like, yeah, this was kind of hard to get here. Like we had to fly to Florida, then we had to board a cruise ship and then sail around and have some serious fun for a couple days. And then we had to get tendered off of the boat to the shore. And then we had to wait in kind of a scary area. And there were a couple people actually, so we had to wait in this one area until the tour guide came to get us. And that was kind of scary because some of the locals were, talking to us and we're like, oh, we're here for a wedding. And they're like, oh, well, where's the bride? And we were like, well, it's a gay wedding. And then they kind of like, it was a little touchy for a minute. In fact, people kept, as we were walking to the next boat to get to the island, there were people like yelling at us saying like, we don't have gay weddings here in Belize. You can't get married. Like kind of just yelling at us and stuff. And I was like, this is happening. Oh my goodness. Just look down and keep walking. Anyway, so that was a little bit so I'm really grateful that they had a planned wedding with a wedding coordinator there on the ground floor and like knew everything. So yeah, this picture on the bottom right is really funny because the grooms had to be shoved in the very back because, oh my goodness. And my husband was with me and we were so seasick because this boat, it just like floored it out there and it was gukung, gukung, gukung. And all of the wedding party and everything were back in this little tiny section. So like maybe 5 or 6 people weren't getting wet, but my husband and I were obviously the non-essential, like doesn't matter if we get wet. So we were like holding our camera gears, like, please don't let our cameras get wet. I mean, obviously they did get wet. But yeah, once we got there, it was this gorgeous day. They got married. It felt like an hour went by in 5 seconds. It went by so fast. And I do remember there was one point when I stopped and looked around and I was like, this is my life right now. I can't believe I actually am in Belize shooting a gay wedding on the beach. This looks like tropical heaven. I just love it. Okay. And while we were there, we made a little video and I don't know, not many people remember this about me, but I do these lip sync videos with my couples and you can see what he's holding. He's holding a piece of cake, right? So I'm just going to lead with that and then we're just going to dance it out. Body rolls, body rolls. Oh, yes. Love it. Cake by the ocean. Love it. Shake it. Shake it. Okay. So I'm hoping that worked. Did everyone see that?
That was pretty amazing.
Do we love it?
There was no music.
Okay, so
there was no music.
Best part about this whole trip was that I was on a cruise. I was on a cruise with my husband and we were able to hold monkeys and experience this amazing cruise, fun time. And we worked and it was the best. Now everyone else is like, oh my gosh, like that's, and I'll talk about pricing in a little bit, but as I go through these weddings, I actually want to talk about them a little bit one by one and the reason why things were charged that way. But for this one specifically, I had specifically my mom. She's always the one that's like, and they're paying for your travel, right? I'm always like, oh, mom, you don't understand. Okay, it's like built into the price, whatever. So with this one specifically, they had a price. Everyone has their budget for their wedding photographer, and they approached me, and it was basically like, this is what we're budgeting, and and I just really wanted it. Like I knew I wanted this wedding. I didn't want to like be that one that's like, well, it's $2,000 plus the cost of the flights and the cruise and the whatever. Instead, I was like, outweighed all of my decisions. Like, what would it be fun? Would it bring memories? Would it make my portfolio amazing? Started listing off all of these things, and I was like, no matter what, I need to make sure that I shoot this wedding. And so, what I ended up doing and talking to the grooms about was I wanted to have I wanted to go on it no matter what. And so basically they just paid for my travel with my husband and for our cruise, and I shot the wedding. So either way you look at it, I don't want to say like I shot their wedding for free, because it gave me so many memories and experience, but like beautiful portfolio images, stuff. So like that I mean, I don't know if I'll ever even be able to do that again. So it's hard because you see these photographers that go travel everywhere, and they never give you like the backstory. You know what I mean? They never like are that like dead honest truth. Like, and maybe they are like getting paid like 30 grand or something, like, and that's all of their travel expenses and stuff. But I just feel like when it comes down to it, a lot of people don't, like, they'd rather just pay maybe a grand or $1,000 and have someone local just snap a couple of shots. So if I started adding on all of my travel fees onto it, it just wouldn't make any sense for them financially to have me come in there. And I knew that they, so, and that's what, anyway, so that's what I wanted to make sure I touched on today, was that, I wanted to just be very, very authentic and very real with you guys. Okay. Now this was a fun couple. They got married on a tram in Snowbird, which is a local ski resort here in Utah, because Utah has the greatest snow on earth. Funny. Okay, so the way that I know Ryan and Katie, I actually know Katie, and that's another thing, is like they're like, wow, how did you find them? How do you meet them? I actually have known her for years. She is someone that I met at school when I was going to UVU, my local university, and she was in one of my art classes, and I took pictures of her daughter, and her daughter is like 15 now. So anyway, so it's interesting because she's followed along my photography journey, and we've just kind of kept in touch through the years. And then I actually did her boudoir session this past Christmas, and she said, oh, well, I might be getting married soon, but we don't want to make a big deal out of it. And so I was like, you have to elope and do something amazing, because I knew that she loved skiing. I knew that they loved, like, they had this like tender little memory. That's how they met, actually, was on the tram. And so I was like, we have to do something cool, like at Snowbird, or something that's big and different. And she told me later, she's like, the reason we did it this way was because you said, let's do it. And so I feel like obviously they made the choice, right? But that's how I knew Ryan and Katie. So it was just acquaintances, just knew them, stayed in contact, keeping my, Facebook and staying in contact with people. Some of these pictures are just so fun. The picture of them walking up the tram, I love storytelling, and I love, we're walking up the tram, we're going to go get married, but I didn't take that until after their wedding. And so her hair is kind of like soaking wet, but I just wanted to make sure I got that before I forgot. This picture on the bottom left with him, I don't know if you can tell, but he's got mittens on and he's holding champagne. And it was so funny because it wasn't raining down at the bottom of the mountain, but by the time we got to the top, it was just white out. It was so cold, and just white out. My camera was like, where in the world do I focus? I have no idea. There's like snow all over the place, but I obviously just focused on like his bow tie and that contrast right there, and then that helped my camera focus better. But the funny part about this is they could not even open their eyes and like look at me, because the snow was just going right in their face. And this picture is just the best. Like, I love the stuff, the candid, the showing the real, what's really going on there. So this is actually right before the ceremony. We stopped a couple spots up the canyon. This is a second marriage, and so these are her two kids, and we wanted to get just some quick kind of new family shots for them, and some good close-up shots with her in her pretty dress, and not snow all over the place. So we took their formal portraits first, and that's actually what I would suggest most people do, is either on a separate day or like right before the elopement, is to take just your good old fashioned look at me and smile, make sure you've got those ones to print and send to grandma and stuff. So yeah, so we did that. And then the actual ceremony was really sweet because it was just us. The entire the entire snowbird had shut down, so they let us come up at like 4 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, the sun goes down at like 4:45. So and the tram ride was maybe 10 minutes. So from start to finish, this whole thing was like an hour from the pictures down in the first look, kind of those family pictures up until the end. So yeah, so it was so funny because they put their ski boots on. And ski boots just make you look ridiculous. Like they immobilize you. So this bride and groom are like walking like robots, and everyone is just like big fat smiles on their faces. And like the guy who married them, he had anyway, they were all just like so fun. And then he busts out his flask at the end. It's like gigantic. And then they actually, I think I have some pictures, yeah, them like dancing and stuff. So then they started dancing in the ski lift. And then at the very, very top, that's where we took these pictures of the snow. And afterwards they put their cute little skis on and their goggles and everything. And then they ended up, I was just sledding, skiing down the mountain. And I was going to say, so first of all, when Katie asked me, she's like, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to get married in Snowbird. Is there any way you know how to ski? And I'm like, yes, I know how to ski. Whatever what you want to hear. Yes. No, the answer is no, I don't know how to ski. I don't know how to ski. And so like a month before, I call my friend who skis. I'm like, hey, we need to go skiing right now because I need to know how to ski for this elopement I'm doing. And not only was I like taking this on, I was like, I need to be able to hold a really freaking expensive camera and lens while not falling down the mountain and skiing for a new person. Like, obviously this is not a good idea. So I just kept saying, I kept going for it. I'm like, I'm going to make it happen. But I couldn't even stand up. I thought I snowboarded. That's a young man's game, man. I cannot snowboard. There's no way. I went down on my hands and knees and then on my bum the whole way down. So many bruises. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know if you needed to know any of this, but dedication is what I'm getting at here. It's just dedication. So, I talked to Katie and I said, hey, so let's talk about your day, like more details. Because I was able to talk about the details and the images she wanted, well, I was able to say, well, I don't know if you really need me to be like on the ski lift going down then, right? Because we'll be kind of just getting all those shots inside the tram and able to get, the stuff at the top, with your ski stuff. And then like, really, you don't need me to like take pictures. And apparently it was like a whiteout anyway. And the officiant, he said that he would take some pictures on his phone, but like they ended up just like going all the way down to the bottom. They didn't even want to stop because it was just, we had so many great pictures anyway, and it captured the mood. We didn't need more than that. But on our way up, because we brought our Jeep, their 4Runner got stuck and we were able to pull him out. Isn't that so funny? What it is. That's what a Jeep does. That's what happens. Okay. You pull out the Jeep, boom, baby. Anyway, that was one of my husband's like favorite moments. He's like, remember when we pulled the bride and groom out of the snow? I'm like, anyway, so suggestion, go get a Jeep. They're so fun. Okay, so let me talk about Josh and Hannah. So Josh and Hannah, this is kind of a funny story. They met because of the pandemic, because he was out at school or finishing his something and ended up coming home and meeting Hannah like somehow, and they found like this love of hiking together. They loved hiking anyway, but they went on, basically they knew each other for 5 weeks and then they wanted to get married. I know. I love it. I love love. But the crazy thing is they really enjoyed hiking, and specifically this one hike, which is like one of the hardest hikes of my life. But we did it because it was an adventure. And this is why I decided to call these things adventure elopements, because they weren't just like, so come over here and we'll meet in this like area, pretty little wooded area. And no, it's like, you gotta work for this, man. Now, as far as location goes, she had a specific spot in mind. She was like, we're getting married on the side of this cliff. And I was like, done. Is there a parking lot next to the cliff? No, there's not. In fact, she emailed me and said, hey, how are you? Are you okay with like a 45-minute hike? And I was like, not well, this is my mind, not my most favorite thing, but I'll do whatever, because I kept thinking like, if this is a 45-minute hike, that means that this is worth it. That means it's gonna be good. So I said, yeah, kind of like with skiing. Yeah, I can ski. Yep, let's go. Gosh. So come to find out, we get there. Okay, I think, so aren't these pictures so pretty? You guys, sometimes I'm like, I think I might be a pretty good photographer, because I just really, you know what it is? It's the dang Sigma, the 105. You stop it right now. The 105 is like dreamy, drooly, yummy, delicious moneymaker. All of those words. Okay. Now the, oh, stop it. This picture on the left, that was the 105. Actually, these are all the 105 except that one on the right. Anyway, oh, I love the 105. Okay, I just got goosebumps a little bit. Okay. So what we did is I talked to the bride and groom before, and I said, hey, let's take some of those good, beefy, hearty, standard issue shots, so we don't have to be stressed about falling off of a cliff. Let's do those like at some midway point along the hike, if there's like kind of a wooded area that had some green all the way around it. And that's what I asked the bride. I said, and she had hiked this hike like a million times. So I traditionally, I would say maybe go check it out, check out the hike, whatever. But it was like a week before, and I was like, if I have to go on that hike, that means I have to go scout it out and then do it again. I have to do it twice in a week. So I'm like, maybe let's just like really talk about it with her on the phone. So I talked about this hike in depth and detail. Like, she went up there and took pictures at golden hour at this time. This is what it looks like, so that I could be able to see like where I wanted to place them. So she did mention that there was this little wooded area for us to take first look pictures, and it was pretty small. You can see like in the bottom right, like it was this trail. It wasn't like a big giant area, but it worked out. And I was able to take these pictures, close-up pictures. The only tricky part here was that I was working with a videographer. And I will say, I love videographers. They're great, they're essential. I love my own wedding video. But when it comes down to it, there are some times that some videographers maybe aren't as time efficient as you'd probably hope. For example, like this guy's great, but he basically just wouldn't stop going. And anyway, I don't want to say anything bad, but because he kind of took up and ate up a lot of that time, like we weren't able to work together as well as I wanted to. The groom said, well, the time that we're at right now, we either can go the long way and probably be late for the ceremony, or we can go the steeper way and we'll be okay. And I was like, steeper way, done. Steeper way, steep. Let's go right now. Okay, so in that moment, I was like, I'm so strong. I'm such a strong person. And so, oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, it was not a steep part. The whole thing was steep. We basically scaled a mountain. My hands and knees were crawling up a mountain. I had a backpack on, covered in sweat. And this backpack, I have the giant 105K, and I have the 14 to 24, the biggest friggin' lenses I own, heaviest. So needed though. I would the whole time I was like, why do you have to be so heavy? I love you so much still. And yeah, so after the fact, my knees, I'm no joke, they were bruised. And I was scrambling up the mountain. Here are some pictures of, like, look how cute they are. They look like so pleasant. They see this one in the bottom, you guys, that is like the whole thing. It was straight up the mountain. No joke here. But yeah, this guy, he was one of the groomsmen helpers. I mean, we were all just struggling. Now the guests went up that other way. It was a little bit less intense. It was still pretty intense though. People were wearing like their dress shoes and stuff and heels. And I was like, how are you doing this? And like she was hiking in like platforms, and that's what she said. She's like, oh, it's not bad. Like I'm planning on wearing my platforms. I'm like, okay, we'll be okay then. And then I get there, I'm like, oh. And she's just like, la, 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 la. I'm just like, went up the top. you're in like a dress and holding things. Anyway, obviously I need to get better at hiking, but it turned out to be amazing and it was so worth it. And I don't even care that I almost died halfway through, because it doesn't matter, because it was amazing. This look, it was just gorgeous. So there's no way I could have shot this session without the 14 to 24 or a wide lens. So I have to say, no matter what, everyone out there in the world, if you want to get into elopements, you need to be versatile with your focal lengths on your lenses. You need to be able to have like a big fat wide shot. Not only is it needed because I was like 3 feet off the cliff, like where the cliff was a couple feet, and that's where the bride and groom were, and then you can see where everyone was on the cliff. It wasn't this beautiful meadow. People were like perched like birds upon the edge of this mountain. And then there were times when the groom would like have to put his arm here. I'm like, oh, can you stand like this? He's like, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm like, oh, I thought he was like, I don't like that pose. But he's like, I don't want her to die, for real. Anyway, so versatility, you need to have a wide lens. And then for me, I love the 105 because I could slap that one on and then just hurry and get some close-up shots. I was able to move a little bit from left to right to get some of these shots, but for the most part, I stood still because I was kind of scared that I would get lost in my tunnel vision and slip down the mountain. Anyway, so this was totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. Now we're going to watch my Insta stories. Can you hear the audio on this, you guys?
We cannot, unfortunately.
Okay, so here's me saying we came straight out of the mountain. I'm sweating like a fat fool. My sweat is just dripping. Okay, this one is this is what I'm saying. Look how straight up that mountainside. The ceremony was just off to my left, and I had Insta storied this, so it felt like my followers, could be kind of a part of the craziness as well. And then this is me. Look at I just said she said. So she's saying that she's done it. I have done it, and I have conquered, because it was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my whole life, which is kind of embarrassing. But anyway, okay. So that one was that fun elopement there. Andre and Stephanie, they are near and dear to my heart. What I love about this wedding was it's a wedding pre-shoot. So they actually didn't elope, but they wanted to. They wanted to have these like dreamy wedding pictures out in the middle of nowhere. So instead, I wanted to showcase you another option so that you can pitch to your clients. Instead of, if your bride and groom are like, oh, my parents have to be there, or everyone, they want a big wedding or whatever. You could say, hey, well, let's go to, some gorgeous location beforehand, before the wedding, and take some beautiful, like first look shots. So that's really big in Utah, are these these pre-bridal almost images. So you get hair and makeup done, you get your bouquet done, a fresh bouquet, and these are done maybe like a month before your wedding. So you're able to get these cute first look shots, and a lot of really great candid shots with the two of them. Instead of being rushed on their wedding day, it's more of a relaxed situation, and then you can take those images and print them for your reception and have them blown up and stuff. So that's really been nice. And then it alleviates a lot of stress from the bride and groom from the wedding day. The downfall is that the groom will see the bride before the wedding day, but if they're okay with it, then I always push for my bride to do one of these pre-sessions, first look sessions. But this couple was just so fun. He actually didn't speak English, but it didn't matter, because I feel like I'm so very bright and lively, and whenever I direct people, I always like mimic and show, like, do this and this, and then she obviously helped translate and stuff. So so their first look was really sweet. So I had him, like walk up towards them, and then they just had this precious little moment. And this is actually in southern Utah. And let me give you like a pricing on this one. And the reason I wanted to talk, the other one, dang it, okay, let me talk about my other, we'll just go on this one. Okay. So for this one, for Stephanie and Andre, she is a hairstylist and super awesome at it. And she wanted to hire me, but I was a little bit out of their budget. And so I said, hey, I can shoot your engagements and we can just trade. So we did that. And then she emailed me back and she said, hey, we loved our engagement so much. I actually, our original plan was like to have someone's uncle photograph our wedding, but I'm just wondering if there's any, yeah, right? And why is that always an uncle? Why is that always an uncle? Why can't it be an aunt? Why can't the aunts be the ones that have the cameras? What the heck? Okay, anyway, stop yelling now. Okay, but yeah, there's always someone's uncle. And she said, I just would rather have you do it. So she's like, would you be okay to trade? You guys, I took into a couple of options. I was thinking it through, right? So I knew that she had great style. I knew the couple really well. They're darling. And I was like, you know what? I know that that's going to be worth it to me. She has, like, again, she has great style. So it'll be fun for me. And I'll be able to have my hair done forever. And it was like 2.5 years of having my hair professionally done. And then also, this is a location about 3 hours away from my home, but my aunt lives there. So I weighed my pros and cons here. And I was like, yeah, I will go, go do your bridals in St. George, Utah with the red rocks. Love it. And it's going to be worth it to me because I know that I'll have a good time. I know that this family is just so fun. And yeah, so that was the first look. So then this is, I loved it. So this picture on the left with the veil out a little bit. I think the wind picked up, but I know that the dad was with us and he kept throwing the veil up. And yeah, anyway, so it's gorgeous that way. But it was just really fun. It was a fun night. It was worth the money for me to lose that, actual money income and be able to experience this with this cute couple. Again, I know that, like, we all have to make a living. We all have to have this. Oh my gosh, I'm going we have to hustle, man. Okay. I don't think the audio is working, but this is another lip sync. So I might just need to sing this, guys. And
we would really like that. Thank you.
So this is going to be funny because I don't speak Spanish. Bando, just wait to say the bando. Pasito, pasito, suavecito, poquito, poquito, pasito, pasito, suavecito, poquito, poquito, despacito, despacito. Okay, that's the end. You guys.
Thank you for helping us avoid copyright strikes. So that was awesome.
Good. Okay, so because I sang it, right?
Yeah, you sang it, so it was totally fine. And I guess the last one was Cake by the Ocean,
okay,
just off of visuals alone. So it's pretty good. Good job.
So yeah, I'm glad that everyone enjoyed that. Okay, so how do you find these adventure clients? Well, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are an adventure family, and I post a lot on my Insta stories. I don't do a ton in my Instagram feed on my professional one, but I showcase like that I'm here now. I'm here now. I'm having fun over here, and we're silly. So I feel like you attract what you want to have come out. Those words are correct. Okay. Now, where do you want to go? All you have to do now is say, like, hey, where do I want to go? If I want to be an adventure elopement photographer, I just need to pinpoint where I want to go. Europe, Idaho, New York, Asia, any one of those 4 you could do. I don't know. Obviously, don't go to Idaho. Idaho's fine. People are going to start yelling at me. French? Oui. Yes. Don't speak the language? No problem. Just learn it. See, I just learned Spanish. It's not hard. Okay. So, but really though, like, there are so many other ways to get around language barriers. Like there are apps that help you. You can also hire a local assistant to come to your shoots and be your translator. If you don't have accommodations, hello, it's 2020, VRBO, Airbnb. Give me a break. No passport, go buy a passport. They're like $85. You can even take your own passport picture. Okay. what I'm getting at is there's no excuses. I personally haven't pushed myself to any European weddings because if I go to a different European wedding, I would, or a wedding overseas, I would want it to be with like my husband and make a trip out of it. But for me, I love pushing anything the beachside, done. So now that you know, okay, let's talk about the steps. So the steps to open yourself up to these different venues and these different demographics here. So the first step is to find those local venues, vendors, and influencers on Instagram. You just need to start making connections, okay? So next step, going to find their local hashtag. So I went through and like found French wedding, French country wedding, Parisian wedding, Parisian, just those hashtags, and just start finding people that look like they would vibe with you in your same style, and following them, liking and comment. So that's the next one. Number 3 is keep moving. So like, comment, and follow. Then you want to make your move. You want to reach out either via email or direct message on Instagram. And I express my compliments. I say, hey, I love your work. I'm doing some fun stuff out here in Utah. I would love to work with you. And then sending them like a fruit basket or some kind of way to, little gift package in the mail, saying, hey, I'd love to work with you. The next one is to set a time either via Zoom or in person if you're in France. This can work with like obviously anything local as well. To ask to be put on their preferred vendor list, or how can we make this relationship work for the both of us, right? I continue to nourish that relationship at the end and make sure I reach out to offer photo shoots, pro bono photo shoots for them so that they can use for their marketing, and let them know that we're a team now. Like whenever you need some stuff for like an event that you need some images for, I'd love to help you out, or, that kind of a thing. So it's more of a symbiotic relationship there. It's not just, do me your weddings. It's like, how can I make your wedding experience better, and all of us to benefit from that. So now that so once you start nourishing those relationships and you have multiple relationships across the country, you can just choose anywhere, and you can just start going. I'm not gonna lie, like I am a little nervous, like going out and being in a language, like having a language barrier. So yeah, I'll start learning a different language. Maybe I will actually learn Spanish. Okay. But what I do love is in the United States, we have these gorgeous coastal areas, New York, Florida, Southern California, that kind of a thing. So whenever I have a bride email me and say, hey, I'm getting married in San Diego, or Southern California, all of my California weddings have a free travel fee associated with them. And everyone's like, what? Free? No. And I'm like, yeah, because it's California. Are you kidding me? And the reason behind that for me is, in my area here, I can barely squeeze like $2,500 out of a wedding. Like people here, my brides here are just on a budget. They just got married. They just met 5 weeks ago. Now they got to get married, right? So it's not like they're living together for a long time to save up their wedding. So for me, I usually like help out maybe like $300, $400 to like help take it down a little bit off their collection here. But for my weddings out there, I'm like, oh, travel is included, not a problem. And that makes it so that I can get out to Southern California often. My flights out here to Southern California are super cheap. So if you are in an area, a hub where you're like, well, I love traveling and visiting this area, especially in the winter season or wherever, if that makes sense. So for me, my happy life would be shooting California weddings in the winter, so I can get out of the winter in Utah. And then actually, what am I thinking? California weddings all year long, not a problem. But specifically in January, February, March, that kind of a thing. So I'm out of the ugly time in Utah, the cold time. Sheesh. Okay, pricing. And we have been talking a little bit about pricing along the way, but really what it comes down to, and what I've been trying to explain, is, will it bring you joy? I've been shooting for 15 years. And that is something that at the end of the day, am I going to be happy? Is this going to bring me joy? Is this going to be a fun experience? Do I get to connect with different people, fun people, and be able to watch the sunset and through my lens and create artwork and experience the reason why I'm a wedding photographer is to feel all of that yummy stuff. Yes, money is awesome and we need it to make the world go round. But at the end of the day, like, does it bring you joy? And that's why that Belize wedding that I shot, I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to have you guys pay for my way. And then we're just going to go. We're just going to do it. And the same thing with like the training with the hair person. like those memories, like with those, I mean, that was just fun. That's fun. And if you just keep saying, you know, I don't know, I guess like you want to make sure that you're not just a yes man, right? That you're just saying yes to everything, but really sit down and figure out like if it's something that you think will bring you, you know, a good time. Usually with my, like when someone comes to me and says, hey, I want to get married in Victoria, Canada, on an elopement, like, would you be okay with that? I'm like, yes. And then the only thing I can think of is like, how, whatever their price is the answer yes. But trying to like massage that into like really making it work, sometimes it's just not reasonable. Like if it's, the cost is just so much for you to get up there, it might be, you know, maybe it's not a good fit that way. And then that's like a little sad. But yeah, does it bring you joy? So that's something that I just wanted to make sure that I put across, because again, like you see all these photographers out there and it's so hard because we all compare ourselves to each other and see like, wow, they're here now. And oh my gosh, they're here. Like they're so cool. Like, why can't I take pictures there? And this all the self-destructing stuff. And that's just not a good journey. So I just want to make sure that, yeah, will it bring me joy? Yes or no? I want to go through a couple of do's and don'ts for adventure elopement. The word that translate has been so very helpful in my life. That actually doesn't translate like you think it does, or that waterfall doesn't translate in photos like you think it would. I've had a lot of people be like, I want to get married, you know, with a waterfall or whatever in the background, but waterfalls are great, but they're huge. And so like when you're right next to them, you're getting soaking wet. And if you're not far enough away to see them, then it just looks like you're getting wet. Anyway, so I've found the word translate, or someone's like, oh, I really saw this beautiful little water feature at this park. I'm like, no, we're not gonna shoot in a freaking park. No, not. And so I say, actually, that doesn't translate as well as you'd think it would in photographs, but these are some other wilderness options or some other lake options, something like that. So you're always giving them other options. You guys, I have to tell you about this. Oh my gosh, you'll die. This picture on the left was how I showed up to an elopement. This is just like a month ago. And this was just like a quick pandemic, quick little elopement, right? They want to quarantine with each other and not with their parents anymore. So not a big deal. But they had put the shower curtain on, and I was like, and then the background is not only is it in the full sun, so it's hot, they also have houses in the background. And then I just looked over to the right, not 20 feet to my right. It was backlit. It was beautiful. This is all green in the background. And because it's an elopement, you can say, I mean, elopement meaning like there were maybe tops 15 people there total. So like mom, dad, it wasn't a big deal. So because of that situation, I was able to step back and say, hey, you know what? From a photographer's perspective, this would be so beautiful right here. You guys would pop right off of the green. It would look gorgeous instead of having that shower curtain there. So anyways, we took it off and we made it look great. And I think that their pictures turned out awesome. And yeah, it was super awkward when I was explaining that it would look better over here. But I did it out of importance of the pictures. The pictures are the end result and they matter the most. But they loved me too. They love it. It's fine. Okay. An adventure photographer is only as good as the shoes on their feet. Okay. That is important. Let me tell you about it. I know you're like, I didn't know we were shopping on Amazon today. But I wanted to show you the 4 pairs of shoes that I have for my adventure elopements. Chacos or Tivas, those ones are great for sand, water, obvious stuff. Like you can even hike in them, but you get like little pebbles underneath your feet. It's not super fun. These Lone Peak shoes on the bottom left, those ones I wish I would have had for that straight up the hill walk. I bought them right after that adventure elopement so that now I am prepared for the future. They have great traction and they're the shape of your foot. So they're super comfortable. If anyone needs like a super comfortable pair of tennis shoes, Ultra is the best brand, no, hands down. Hunter rain boots, crazy expensive, any kind of rain boot that goes up high because I will have to walk in water, walk through puddles. But I usually keep them in my car. So if I know that I am going to do a photo shoot, and then at one point there's like this one like little pond or like a lake I need to step into a little bit, throw them on, not a big deal. Sorels have saved my life in the winter. Oh my goodness, the snow. I thought I had like warm shoes on, but this one time, but my feet felt like they were going to fall off. And so Sorels, love them. And I love that they're called Joan of the Arctic. I think that's cute. Okay. Oh, look, there I am with my chacos. Ha 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 ha. See the stand? See how they work? You stand in them. They're so nice. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Oh, but wait, a photographer is also only as good as their lens. What? So many different quotes, McKenzie. Okay. So we talked about the 105 and the 14 to 24. Those ones are like my beastly giant lenses, and I can't stress enough, specifically that wide one for adventure elopements, for any kind of elopement. So that it looks grand, it looks huge, it looks picturesque. The 105 1.4, it just makes everything just dreamy. It's crisp and sharp, and then it just blurs that yummy bokeh in the background. It's a beefy bokeh baby. That's awesome. Okay. These are a couple of my other ones. I couldn't mention those ones without saying I love how much I love the 35 millimeter. I love the price point. Sigma is awesome with their lenses are sturdy. They're just amazing, strong, yummy. But then their price point is awesome. I kind of compare them to like Kirkland brand, at Costco. Love Kirkland brand. They're kind of like the Kirkland brand for lenses. Like you trust Kirkland. You trust Sigma. Okay, that's how I say that. Okay, and then adventure photography is only as good as their Lightroom presets. So sorry. So Lightroom presets. I know I don't want to like throw myself out there, but I got it because my Lightroom presets have seriously changed my life. There has been like this dark and dreamy look that's been super exciting, and everyone's been trying to do lately. And I developed some Lightroom presets that are easy peasy. I don't know how I edit without them. Like I actually tried to edit like from scratch. I have no idea how to do it anymore. I don't even know. So I just slap on some of my Lightroom presets. It makes them just yummy. You can see like that's like a before and after there. This is some before and after magic. It just makes them look kind of like funky and fun. And that's the one thing that's going to help set you apart is having your image, making your images look just stunning. The picture on the left, that was that elopement that I was telling you about. This was the first picture out of the gate. They're just walking, and it still bugs me that her skirt got stuck there, but we didn't have another one. We're going fast, right? Let's be efficient. Anyway, and so the picture on the bottom left, you're like, wow, that's like really desaturated. But what are you looking at? You're looking at the couple. You're not looking at like the greens and the yellows that are happening. It just makes it more simplistic, and it makes it more dramatic. And the one on the right, like I just was able to pull up just a ton of information from those shadows. So my presets keep your highlights, and yet they pull up the shadows. Yeah, I love them. And I am giving a special code to Glazier's camera friends using that code at the McKenzieBag.com on any of my preset packs. I love them. I love them. I hope you love them as much as I love them. Glazers 30 gets you 30% off. Awesome. Okay. Oh, what's this? What's going on? What a crazy person to jump out of bride's skirt. That's normal. Sure. Okay. Okay. This is one of my favorite quotes that I read from a magazine somewhere. When faced with self-doubt, just shoot more. It's the least expensive way to do marketing. It's the healthiest thing you can do for your mind. It's the best thing you can do to continue becoming a better photographer. And that's by Jake Stengel. A lot of times we do kind of, we're just too self-critical. Especially with this pandemic, we've been stuck inside, and it's been hard to like get those creative juices flowing. But the best thing you can do is to just shoot more. Come up with something, photograph like your family member, or come up with a creative shoot with you and just a friend. You got to get out there and just start shooting. It's going to be the healthiest thing you can do for your mind and for your portfolio. Don't miss out on something that could be great just because it also could be difficult. I know it seems like photography sometimes is really hard, especially comparing yourself and also keeping up with the current styles and the current just everything. It's hard. It's hard. But the worst thing you could do is to stop. So you can't steer a ship that's docked in the dock, right? Oh gosh, what was that great quote? You can't steer that ship that's not moving. You know what I mean. Okay. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Follow me on Instagram, and I would love to help mentor you. If you have any questions, we can go
Hi,
over your
everybody.
portfolio.
This is
And
Kate Haley
I'd love to
with
be a part of
Glazer's
your photography
Camera.
journey. So anyway, thanks guys.
That was awesome. Take a breath, girl.
truth.
Well, thanks so much for that. We have a couple of questions, and then we'll unfortunately have to wrap the session up because we have another one scheduled right after this. I guess one question would be super quick is, are you finding that you're going to be doing a blend of these adventure elopements and regular wedding ceremonies once we can start getting back into that lifestyle?
Yeah, I think that's what it will turn into for sure. Just the typical wedding elopement, just small ceremony type of thing. And then I agree. I actually have noticed that that's kind of what's going to happen. So yeah.
Did people start reaching out to you for this specifically, or like I know you mentioned like people were sheltering in place with their parents and they're like, no, we've been talking about getting married. Let's do this. Let's get married now. And has it just been kind of organic this has happened, or did you start marketing to get those clients and say, hey, we can still do this?
I think it's been more so for me. I've looked at my own portfolio and said I would really like to add more of these adventure elopements to my portfolio. So I'm going to start posting more of these weddings that will attract that. So it looks like that's something I specialize in, right? And so that's really what's just happened is people just kind of know that I'm up for anything. And I just keep saying, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And so that's, I think it's just the word got out.
Well, and I commend you for the skiing thing. I did live in Salt Lake City for a little while and only made it to one of the ski resorts once, and I did not attempt to ski. I've never done that. I grew up in the Southeast where to get to snow, you have to like fly somewhere to get to snow. And so skiing was never in my wheelhouse. But so I commend you on that. That is awesome. It's like, yeah, I could do that. Oh, I can't do that.
Oh wait, I can't.
I can't, but I'm gonna make that happen. You know, there's a lot of truth and a lot of realism in your approach to things, and just kind of like you said, kind of being up for whatever and working with people that you love to work with. And I think there's a lot of truth that rings into that for people in general. You know, when you're getting started, you're trying to photograph everything because you're trying to get better. You know, we take jobs that we don't necessarily want to because we need the cash. But finding the joy is so key as we continue to grow and get better as photographers and creatives. So that's...
Yeah, I agree. Love it.
All right. Well, I will just take a moment to thank you for your time and your awesome energy and stories. Devin's been over here cracking up the whole time. So I have too, but he's like very like, you know, he also pulled some man behind the curtain voices back there for you. So in case you're wondering who the guy is that's like talking in the background, that's Devin. He might be waving right now at you guys. So Devin is part of the team that made this whole event happen. So I'm super grateful for all of his technical knowledge and support during this
I need more
week.
monitors, I think.
Yeah, we have so many monitors.
Just need 2 more. Next Photofest.
I think we need more monitors. I want a wall of monitors next time. So McKenzie, thank you so much. Sigma, Aaron, thank you so much for making this happen. We are super grateful as always. Your energy is amazing. So hopefully one of these days, whenever we can actually have people in our classroom besides me and Devin, we look forward to trying to arrange to get you out here sometime to do something in person. So thank you so much. We're really grateful.
Yes, definitely.
For everybody tuning in, I believe there are some Sigma promos that are happening this week. And most of the promos that have gone out in the emails this week do actually expire today. So that means if you want to buy one of those items on that list of promos, you need to buy it through our website today before like midnight, I guess, or 11:59 Pacific time. Because tomorrow, many of those offers are not going to be available. If you do make that purchase online today, you'll be able to do curbside pickup next week, or we can ship it to you. So lots of options available there. McKenzie, Aaron, Sigma, thank you again so much. I look forward to staying in touch with you, McKenzie. It's just been a real joy to have you here. And to everyone who's watching, don't leave We have one more session. Our final session of Photofest starts at 2:15, and it's on wildlife photography. And Devin said that so loud you could hear him through my mic. So McKenzie will let you go. Sigma will let you go. Everyone else, hang on. We're going to be back in 15 minutes. Thank you so much.